Hi, everybody. Welcome again to our Google Hangout here. And if you've missed last week, you definitely want to get a hold of that. And as I said, from now on with our Google Hangouts, we're going to make sure that we've got our coffee or tea. And you're going to want to be really excited about what you're going to learn, because I'm going to show you how to diagram your competitive advantage. Why this is so important is it's all about saving you time and effort on how to close deals faster and quicker. And the really cool thing about what I taught last week, and what we're going to be going into this week, 7 rules to closing business deals. So I'm going to show you how to draw and close business deals really quickly in less than 5 minutes over a cup of coffee at Starbucks or wherever your favorite coffee place is. So wouldn't that be a good thing if you became more powerful? By doing that, you become more influential and your status increases. And that's really important, right? Today in the advisory age, it's all around knowing how to posture your influence and your status so you can save yourself time, effort, and money. And my clients love these systems. We've got hundreds and hundreds of them in our New Guru Business Acceleration program, because it's all around helping them save time, effort, and money, and getting the confidence that they can go into the marketplace, even if they're just starting out from scratch, and how to begin to close deals really quickly. So as I shared last week, you can use what I'm going to show you today and what I covered last week. And again, this is all in our Google Hangout a few weeks ago. We covered 10 principles of business acceleration. But you're going to want to use this system as one of the many systems that we teach our clients inside of your PowerPoint presentations, webinars, your Google Hangouts, your keynotes, over a one-on-one consult with somebody over a cup of coffee, over the telephone, etc. So it's really cool. I've got a couple of cool things I'm going to show you today around diagramming your competitive advantage. And just before I bring one of our clients on, John's been in our program for a period of time. He hails from the Tar Heel State, and I wanted to just bring John on to introduce you. You're going to meet a couple more of our clients today in a very unique way. We've got more social proof than anybody in the marketplace today, and that's not me saying that. That's Alex Mandossian, and that's other gurus and experts that follow our every move. Why? Because you're going to be leveraging the power of a predictable, certain, and secure system. You're in safe hands. So if you have been following us for any length of time, and I want to commend all of you that have done that, you will have texted 802-467-0057 and the word draw, D-R-A-W, if you have any questions. And we're going to bring out our draw bag, and you'll see that very shortly at the end of the 7 rules. I'm gonna answer a couple of questions. So hopefully your question is the lucky one to be asked, and I want to encourage you to use this. This is the fastest way of getting in contact with me. It's the latest in technology, and if you want a competitive advantage in the way that I'm teaching you, you want to be able to make speed your competitive advantage. So without further ado, John, I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Just speak to our listeners, the people that are watching us right now live. From your perspective on developing the confidence to get out there and leverage what I'm showing them, what are some of your recommendations?
Well, Glenn, I'll tell you, I'm super excited because we are at the most exciting time in history for consultants and coaches. And what that means is the industry is predicted by the government to grow, by the U.S. government. And we can look at whether or not we want to accept this completely, but at least it's some good news. And what I'm saying is that the industry is predicted to grow by at least 83% over the next 4 to 5 years, the consulting industry, which is great news for everybody. Now, even what that means is, even more so than formal education, people are wanting good hard knocks knowledge. That means that everybody on this call has life experiences, life knowledge, different things that they've been through, that they've overcome, that are very valuable to the marketplace. It's just a matter of using a proven, safe, and secure system to locate that ideal market so that they have that ideal market and message match, which is exactly what you can help them with. In fact, my life completely transformed when I got involved with your company through a phone call to the office. I called your office and inquired about exactly what was so different about your system versus everybody else out there. A lot of people on the call probably already know I've spent about $157,000 on my own education with different gurus and programs and different things. Nobody was really able to tell me or show me how to go from A to Z and how to really bring my message to the market. Not the way that you do in your proven safe and secure systems. And so what people are looking for out there is someone who's walked the path. Someone who's actually been through and navigated the potholes and the pitfalls and the different hurdles out there in various markets, and you have done that and can show people in over 120 different industries how to get from A to Z and reach their ideal market.
Oh, okay. Thanks, John. I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to join us. For those of you that have just moved into our programs, and maybe this is your very first Google Hangout, you've made the wise and intelligent investment because you want to build a smart business on an intelligent system. And don't we all want to act smarter? You're going to meet some wonderful people like John and some of the people that I'm going to show you today. So you're going to like this because it's different. And I believe that in everything that I do is different. You've been following this for any length of time. You know, definitely I'm different. Just ask my kids, just ask my wife, and they will tell you that. All right, let's move into what we covered or we went over last week really quickly. I'm not going to take time to review it because it's on our blog and it's on YouTube and it's on our Google Plus stream, etc. So you can take a look at that. And I shot a quick video from the Canadian Lake Home, so you can take a look at what we covered last week, so you understand the power of knowing how to draw out your competitive advantage. That's crucial. And I'm going to give you 7 rules on closing the deal really, really quickly over a 5-minute cup of coffee. And in order to do that, you want to be highly strategic, right? If you're going to build a business today, you got to leverage the 2 twin pillars. One of them is leverage and strategic positioning. If you're going to build a company, you've got to have leverage and you've got to have strategic positioning. So if you watch everything that I do, highly strategic, highly leveraged, and these 7 rules today are going to give you increased influence and status as the #1 positioned company in your marketplace or the #1 positioned expert in your market. And you heard John, he spent a lot of money trying to become an expert. We show clients how to become experts very, very, very quickly with nothing but what goes on between their ears or what comes here. And we've got different programs. And some of the systems that I'm showing you here are to help you get started, accelerate your thinking, or if you're already in business, how to begin to scale in your mind to become more powerful, more influential, and ideally with creating more status for yourself. All right. So last week I gave you the 3 overlapping circles. That's part of a greater program that we call our #1 toll positioning program in the market. And I'm not going to draw that out here for you today because I've already showed you that on a preview video here for our Hangout, and you can see that on our blog. So let's get into the rules here. We're going to do a couple of things during the 7 rules. I'm going to introduce you to a client during our rules. And I think you're going to like this person because I'm also going to start showing you every week the sunset of the week from the Canadian Lake Home. All right, I want to show you why National Geographic has rated our area as the #1 area for sunsets in the world. And you're going to be awfully impressed. So we got a lot of fun things. You're going to learn a lot. Make sure that, again, you've got paper and pen. You've got your binder, My IP into Big Profits, my intellectual property. That is your experiences. We're going to show you how to organize your thinking so that you can make a profound difference in the marketplace, because we're all after a lifestyle business, right? One that allows us to travel more, give more time with our family, and of course cash flow everything that we want to do, right? So we're going to make it easy for ourselves. We want to make it easy. We want to use smart systems. We want to build on an intelligent business model. So we don't want to use tactics and strategies. We want to create new market space. And you've been following me. You understand the absolute crucial importance to that. So let's move into rule #1, diagramming your competitive advantage, all right? And you've seen the circles that I drew last week. If not, I might as well just show it to you here, right here. That's what we started with last week. I spent a lot of time going through this diagram. You don't know why I'm showing you that, then you will want to definitely get the Hangout from last week. All right. So when it comes to diagramming your competitive advantage, the cool thing is nobody is teaching this today. This is 100% proprietary. You can Google the concepts that I'm covering with you. There's nobody. Why? Because we're one of the leaders in business acceleration coaching. We run a company that helps clients accelerate in the marketplace using advanced teaching and training, and at the same time our advanced business acceleration processes. So you're going to love it because it's going to give you what you've always wanted and what the other gurus and experts can't teach you, probably because they haven't figured it out. I'm not anybody bright. It's just the fact that I'm an educator. And as John said, we've been in over 120 industries. So we know the industry of business pretty well. So rule number one, here it is right here. You want to write that down. Rule number one, draw to see something new. All right, you always want to make sure that you draw to see something new. Now, not only do you want to do that for yourself, let me just make sure I got it up high enough here. You got to remember that imagery in your mind, the human mind remembers based on images, not words. So if you think about this, when I came to this kind of understanding, I was flying on a trip, as I shared a couple of weeks ago, flying on a trip from Detroit to Las Vegas, and I was doodling in my plane seat, you know, just doodling on some concepts that we were engineering for our company. It was at the same time that we were starting our own certification co-branding program, and I wanted to, in my mind, diagram out what our competitive advantage was. And so I was doodling around and thinking, all of a sudden I'd thought of this, you know, it's like, why do we all doodle? Why do we all, you know, draw something here, like I will on right here, you know, we just, we doodle. Okay, I just doodled on the phone number, the text number that you can text us at a drop. Okay, you doodle. Why? Because your mind is seeking clarity. And if your mind is seeking clarity, how much more is your ideal client or your potential client wanting to see, crystallize what it is that you do that makes you different? Remember last week I showed you a series of diagrams. I showed you the left side and the right side. Remember that? And I showed you that. And if you missed it again, you're definitely going to want to listen so that you, and watch, so these 7 rules make even more sense. So you want to diagram out your competitive advantage in a way that you draw something new for your target market. Why? Because the brain remembers visually and spatially. The human mind remembers visually and spatially. It doesn't remember words as you know, W-O-R-D. It remembers a moving picture around a word. So if you want to use concepts with your marketplace, draw them out. Now, what are you going to draw out? You're only going to draw out what gives you your competitive advantage. And hence the reason why, again, last week, let me show this again, why we started off with our Venn diagram approach right here. All right? So we want to make sure that we're laser focused and we're targeted in our messaging, so that we don't waste a lot of time and we can close deals really quickly. So rule number one is you want to draw something new. Here's rule number two. You want to draw to see patterns. You want to draw to see patterns. All right, let's make sure you got it. Draw to see patterns. Now, if you got a math background, I don't really have a math background. I have a science background. I've got a counseling background. I've got a theology background. I've got an education background. I'm steeped in education, 9 years of post-secondary education. Doesn't make me very bright. It just makes me maybe bright in a certain little area in academia. But one thing that you want to understand, that if you're in the area of math, the most important area of math is algebra. Why? Because algebra is all about knowing how to create a pattern so that numbers make sense and equations make sense. So you want to, if you watched what I did last week, remember we had the left side and we had the right side, and I diagrammed those out for you and I actually color-coded them for you. I created patterns, and I created patterns where I developed the context first, that is, what are my competitors doing, versus what is the right way, or what is the faster way, or what is the more efficient way, or what is the way that's going to save you more money, or what's going to create more time for you. So you want to be able to compare and contrast, because the human mind sees in patterns. So create a pattern for your diagram. So always create the right context, because remember, based on rule number one, remember what rule number one is, you want to draw to see something new. You got to help your target market see something that they haven't seen before. So you want to build a better problem before you build a better mousetrap. Help them see something new. Let me give you an example. When I go down to the Blue Water Bridge, which spans Port Huron, Michigan, and Sarnia, Ontario, Canada, where our international office is and where the Canadian Lake Home is located on Lake Huron, I can see something, you know, when I look at the bridge, I think, wow, you know, it's pretty aesthetic and, you know, it looks kind of cool. And that's about all I can see because I'm not an engineer. My engineering friends, especially my civil engineering friends, they start, you know, taking a look at it and say, wow, Glenn, you know, look at the column, look at the width, look at the load, you know, the load, look at, you know, and they give me some other, you know, all of a sudden now I'm starting to see patterns. I'm starting to see something in the structures that I've never seen before. Remember, people only see what they know. They only see what they know. So you've got to help them know something new, diagram it out, all right? Now, let me show you something. Speaking of patterns and beauty, National Geographic has rated our area as the #1 area for sunsets in the world. And let me just show you here one of our sunsets. One of my clients came in this week, and Morgan Langan, you'll meet Morgan in just a second here. But if you take a look there, you'll be able to see, oops, let me just share screen here, sorry, let me just choose it, share screen, and that's one of our sunsets. That's our sunset of the week, of this past week, here at the Canadian Lake Home. All right, pretty cool. And let's meet Morgan, okay? I've got a short little message from Morgan. He's going to tell you a couple of things about why he came to the Canadian Lake Home and what happened there. So let me just bring Morgan in. Meet Morgan Lang. This is one of our thousands of clients that we work with. And if we can get Morgan here to play. Oops. Here we go.
Hi, Morgan Langan here from the Rejuvenation and Performance Institute in Sedona, Arizona. And I've spent the last day with Glenn Dietzel here in his beautiful lakefront home in Lake Huron. And
thanks, Morgan.
I'm really excited about the day's events and how much we've accomplished, because I've taken a program that we've spent and invested a lot of time and energy into, and now I'm going to be able to execute to our target market. Up until this point, I've been working with clientele who have demanded our services but haven't been able to afford it. Now Glenn's helped me to really lock in on who our target clientele is and how we're going to reach that clientele, and I just can't wait to get home and execute. Thank you, Glenn.
Pretty cool, isn't that? That's Morgan Langan. Suppose you had a really cool system that allowed you to attract those kinds of clients. How do I attract those kinds of clients? By being highly strategic. My clients refer to a lot of our systems that we teach, and this is one of them, as stealth. Why? Because it goes under the radar in terms of how do you educate your marketplace to bring them into a long-serving relationship with them. This is the advisory age, so you need to know how to triage a problem, all right? And that's really what we're covering. You triage a problem faster and quicker than your competitors do. What does that allow you? It gives you more time. It allows you to become more valuable. It allows you to close higher-end deals than your competitors. It gives you a chance to work with your ideal clients, the high-end clients. Remember I covered this last week, and give all the lower-end fruit, if you will, to your competitors, the ones that will want to lowball them and everything else. It brings you your ideal clients. What I really like about the advisory age, it's an age when, you know, if you're trying to build a business stuck behind an email, you're not going to build it very quickly. I don't care what any expert or guru says. The advisory age means you need to know and you need to be upfront about how you triage problems. All right? So that's crucial. So rule number 3. Rule number 3 is this. You want to draw to be a problem solver. You want to draw to be a problem solver. So let me just make sure you can see that. All right? Whoops. Draw to be a problem solver. When we're talking about being a problem solver, you want to be a strategic problem solver. You don't want to just solve any problem. You want to solve a very specific problem and set of problems that your target market absolutely has pain around. It's keeping them lying awake at night. They're doing some research. You know, you're going to meet one of my clients here who is actually sitting right in this desk chair here. You'll meet him very shortly. But one of the things I said to him, because he invested in a consultation with me, and what I told Dwayne is that you want to be so strategic in your way that you, as again, drawing your problem, being a problem solver, that you draw out your competitive advantage so strategically that your target market automatically sees what it is that you do compared to what everybody else does in the marketplace. Because remember, you don't want to just let people know what it is that you do. You want to show them what you do, okay? So stop explaining what you do. Instead, show people what you do. That's why I bring on clients like John. That's why I bring on clients like Morgan and others, so that people can tell you what it is that we do. Or you're going to meet some wonderful people, those of you that are in our programs or are new to our programs, you meet some amazing clients. And, you know, suppose you had a system that allowed you to do the very same thing. If you're following what I'm doing, which is predictable and certain and secure, you're going to be able to create the lifestyle business that you've always wanted. So you want to draw to be a problem solver. You want to, when you problem solve, though, you want to problem solve with you as the #1 positioned expert, a guru, or company in your marketplace. So you never want to diagram, or you never want to show something that doesn't give you your competitive advantage. So stop doing that. Why am I doing Google Hangouts? That's a good question. Basically, because it's my passion. I'm a former teacher. Spent 14 years in the educational field. I know how to teach. And I know how to teach my clients. That's crucial. My clients, the number one reason why they come to us is because I'm a teacher. I know how to teach them because I'm going to use the same systems. And suppose you have access to the same systems that John does or Morgan does to be able to execute it in the marketplace with my assistants. Would that be not a good thing for you? Would you not be able to finally make speed work for you? Of course you will. So you want to be able to diagram that out. And last week I showed you some of our simple diagrams that we use to diagram our own company's competitive advantage. All right? So let's move on. Rule number 4 is this. You want to draw to compare. So write that down. Draw to compare. Okay, now what are you comparing? You are drawing to compare your system versus, your system versus your competitor system. Your process versus your competitor's process. All right? Your way of doing something versus the typical way of doing something. All right, so you always want to make sure, again, you want to be highly strategic in your diagramming to showcase the context, and the context is what the typical advice is in your industry or what your competitors typically do versus what it is that you do. All right, that makes you unique. You getting this? All right, I trust you are, because you can do this. As John said, spent a lot of money to finally figure out, using our simple yet profound systems, of how to be really stealth in the marketplace and create some major traction so you can close $5,000 to $10,000 deals and even higher. And it's not hard when you have the system and when you have the predictability and the security of working with that system, because now you're creating an intelligent business because you're acting smarter than your competitors. All right? And that's crucial. We want to act smarter. Not work harder, act smarter, all right? So rule number 4 is then always draw to compare, okay? So if you're going to draw something, start with the context first, then draw out your competitive advantage. All right, rule number 5, you're going to love this rule. Rule number 5, draw to simplify your message. Draw to simplify your message. All right, you got that? I always tell my clients, err on the side of simplicity as opposed to complexity. If you make things complex, you're not triaging a problem properly. Now, when I say, doing it simple, it doesn't mean that your answer is a simple answer. What you have is a system that takes all the complexities of the problems and allows people to follow your predictable action guides, plans, templates, just like we show our clients, and we give them daily assistance and project management help, etc. All right, so that's really important. So rule number 5, draw to simplify your message. All right, keep it simple, but keep it profound. And in doing that, you want to always, again, every time you draw your competitive advantage, you want to build draw your diagramming of what makes you different versus your competitors. You want to make sure that's in the context of building your competitive advantage. Number 6 is a really good one. I like number 6. Draw to demonstrate results. And this is going to answer one of the questions I think that Jan asked. So Jan, I'll answer your question here at the end. Number 6, draw to demonstrate results. One of the questions that came in, and got a bag here. You'll be able to see it very shortly. You're going to like it. And time for another sip here. So rule number 6 is draw to demonstrate results. What is your marketplace after? They're after results. All right? Bottom line, what are the results that you're giving your marketplace? So in our business New Guru Business Acceleration Systems, we teach clients how to match their diagramming and some really cool systems that we have around diagramming, integrate those into boardroom presentations, PowerPoint presentations, keynoting, etc. Then we tie that to a really cool way, our own unique way of tying that to an offer, an irresistible offer, or something that when your target market sees it, they can't say no to. All right? And we're going to have some more to say about that shortly. But the concept here about number 6, drawing to demonstrate your results, is one of the best things that I've ever done in diagramming our competitive advantage. It's not just putting the context and then drawing what makes us different. I like to layer numbers. All right, I like to put numbers on the diagrams. So, you know, quite often we'll take the typical business funnel, I showed you that last week, versus our Freedom business funnel, and I'll take people through a $19 book, and you know, how many people move to the next level, say a $99 product, and then to the next level, a $500 program, and then a